Hey everybody, Dom here! Recently on the TF2 official blog, there was a blog post, and in said blog post, there were proposed balance changes. And, balance changes. Okay, so what occurred is that Valve posted a list of balance changes for an upcoming TF2 patch. This isn't a finalized list. These things could change. Of course, they probably will. Some of them are horrible. Some of those changes are really good. And this isn't the entirety of the list. That's basically what this entire paragraph says. We're gonna go over this list. We're gonna read these patch notes. You're gonna get my opinion on what changes are good, what changes are bad, what do I think, etc., etc., etc. Because you're watching this video, and so why would you not want that? You came here. You wanted it. You wanted these. You wanted to listen to this video. You wanted to watch it, and you're here. You're watching it right now. But seriously though, people ask me because I'm a TF2 YouTuber what I think about balance changes, so we're gonna go through them. Alright. So first thing is the panic attack. It's been changed. Basically, it sucked. That's what they're saying here. It sucked. It was not used, so they're like, let's get rid of this gimmick. Let's make it something different. A different gimmick. A different weapon. A different sort of thing. Originally, or how it is right now, at the time of recording this, it's basically you hold down, it charges up, and then it releases a volley of, damage, right? What sucked about this is what they're saying. What sucked about this is that you switch to your secondary when you can't, when you don't have ammo on your primary and there's enemies around you, things like that. Like, as a backup, makes sense, it's a secondary. And so, it didn't actually fulfill that purpose, and they wanted to fulfill that purpose of sorts. So, there's a new design to this weapon. It now has faster firing speed, 50%, more pellets, less damage, so 50% more pallets, but less damage. It equals out in a certain way. There's math to be done here, and I guess going forward, there's a little disclaimer. These are just my opinions on these changes. Like I said, there's math to be done here, but when we get it firsthand, then we'll know for sure if a weapon is good or not. Or if it's, viable or not. Or in what situation you should use it or not, etc., etc. Fires a wide, fixed, short pellet, regardless of server settings. So it's just basically it's kind of like, it's hard to describe this. It's interesting. Shot pattern grows with successive shots. As also, there you go. This is interesting. This kind of reminds me of the Ambassador. So it becomes worse as you shoot, but because you're panicking, it makes sense in terms of the name, the panic attack. This weapon change, I say, probably for the best, because the weapon was garbage beforehand, and maybe it's not garbage, but, we'll see firsthand, later on. The Ambassador, a weapon that was pretty skillful. Turns out people got mad. People were like, man, that guy sniped me from across the map, but he's not a sniper. And so, we should lower the skill gap for everybody. And it's like, okay, thanks Valve, whatever. So their proposed change is that the first shot is no longer perfectly accurate. Bullet spread is increased, but bullet spread instead is reduced by 50%. This makes headshots less reliable at long range, while still very valuable at close range and medium range. Okay, sure. I mean, it nerfs the weapon, but I guess it's okay if it doesn't headshot from super long range and it switched to medium long range, then that's okay. But hard to judge. I'll say sure, whatever. I mean, the weapon wasn't that great to begin with, unless you were really skillful and there was not a lot of people on the server. So basically, it was pretty good in competitive play. Where it'd be 6v6 and stuff like that. All right, moving on. Deadringer, an already nerfed to the ground weapon, just got nerfed some more. All right. So basically, their proposed change was that they want to make it more consistent. They want to make it so you can't pick up ammo off the ground. Sure. I don't like this change, but whatever, man. You're Valve. You do you. Your return reward. What sucked about it was, this is what they're saying, I'm just paraphrasing. What sucked about it was that you sucked until you got a first disguise, right? So they're making it so you could now disguise, but it drains your entire cloak meter. Okay, sure. I mean, I guess it makes it more user-friendly. Yeah. Plus it was underutilized. That was one of their concerns. Removed cannot be disguised penalty. Yeah, so you can not disguise, but take the full cloak meter. Backstab-based cloaks are still free, so it makes sense. Increase cloak drain rate by 50%. That kind of sucks, though. That really actually very sucks. Wait. Yeah, it sucks. For some stats on some weapons, if it says increased drain or decreased a gain, or, if it uses negative and positives or two negatives in one situation, sometimes it's a good thing. In this situation, it's bad, though. Does that make sense? Moving on. The scouts changes. Sandman, they're like, you know what? The stun, it sucks that like you get stunned and you can't fight back for the short duration. So to like, you know, we're gonna just buff the weapon but take away that. And that's the entirety of what's changed here. This change, I guess it's okay. The weapon was sort of underutilized to begin with, in my opinion, and it was a little bit annoying. It was annoying to fight. Not being able to fight back does feel bad. Makes sense. So taking away the feeling of feeling bad makes sense also. I'll take this change. I'll take this change. Long range of impact, blah, 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 blah. Achievement has been changed. The achievements have been changed. Okay, makes sense. You have to change achievements if you've changed the weapons. Mechanics. Makes sense. I say that often. Moving on. Max range balls, 50% decrease. So that now you get the bonus of like the best ball you could possibly get at a lower distance because it doesn't do the crazy stuns anymore. Okay, I'm alright with this. Ball regeneration time also reduced. So this would be a good thing. You would be like, yeah, man. Oh, yeah, that's great. The ball could now be used more time better with the flying guillotine. But no, we're going to move on to that. You're going to see. The flying guillotine was like nerfed into the ground. they've taken away the combo with the Sandman, and that's just unfortunate. That was so fun. Aw, man. Bonk Atomic Punch, an already garbage weapon. Let's see what they've done. They've made it so, like, if you take a lot of damage with it, you get a slow effect afterwards for a long time, or a large amount. A large amount? Makes sense. Lard, you're fat. You move slower, you get more lard, and you make I don't know. Last 5 seconds. So like you have to run slowly afterwards. That kind of sucks. I guess maybe this change was made for the better of the game. Giving up your pistol to begin with is already a pretty bad downside for you know, Bonk, but you know, whatever, man. I'm okay with this change. Or am I? Regardless. Pretty Boy's pocket pistol, a weapon that was pretty garbagey. They've changed it. This weapon was pretty garbagey. Oh man, falling damage. We take more damage. Why do we make it like this? I'm just paraphrasing here. Goal: make the weapon less of a liability and focus it on the get health quickly tool with decent burst. At expensive total damage. New design: more firing speed, up to 7 HP per hit instead of 5, and clip size reduced, 9 shots. Okay, sure enough. Oh, I mean, yes, this actually takes a weapon out of non-usable to usable. At least I'd imagine. Yes. Moving on. Critical, something that was apparently overpowered like crazy, but no one ever used. Seriously, it actually pretty was. It was overpowered like crazy, but no one ever used. That was really weird, because usually people use things if they're overpowered. But the Critical, I guess in everyone's mind, they thought to themselves, oh man, this weapon's been garbage forever. And because it recently became good. But, you know. You understand what I'm saying? I don't even understand what I'm saying. Moving on. Ba-doo, mark for death, blah blah. Goal: add more thought on when, where to activate and how to manage the risk-reward of the effect. See, that sounds like a pretty noble goal. Let's see what they have changed, even though I've read this before in the past. Added: each attack, while active, adds mark for death debuff for 5 seconds. Is that on you or is that on your opponent? Removed mark for death when effect expires. Okay, sure. More move speed. Remove that garbage. Well, that was pretty good though. Yeah, that was removed. That's unfortunate. That's a nerf. And removed the damage taken penalty, which is a good thing though. Atomizer. Their beef with this was that you just got triple jump. Taking damage wasn't that much of a downside, and you were really hard to hit for like the Dome Man and the Soldier because they use explosive splash damage, and there was no ground because you were in the air. Plus, so they made it so only when you have it active it's good, but you know, since that's a big downside, they've also changed it so that you don't take the damage. Reduce damage penalty. Oh, they say, wait, yeah. Let me just read the changes. Triple jump is now only possible when the bat is deployed. Removed self-inflicted damage when triple jumping. Removed attack speed penalty. Added melee or melee or melee or malure or I don't know how you pronounce that. I'm just gonna say melee. Attacks done while airborne, mini crits. So it becomes sort of like a little bit of a Mark Gardner. You're going up in someone's face. You're like, bam! I'm coming up in your face. I'm up in your grill. I'm up in your face. And then you shoot. You just hit them. They're taking damage like crazy, possibly like crazy. But they can't react. You're not on the ground. They can't shoot you. You're somehow above them, slightly above them. It just sounds like fun. I love this change. Even though, you know, overall it's maybe a slightly worse weapon because you can't triple jump everywhere. But it sounds like fun. You gotta like mini crit people while you're airborne. That's just hilarious. I want to see that. I want to play this. I like this change. In summation. Added 50% deploy time penalty. That kind of sucks because, you know, that makes sense though. It's not so like you could just continuously attack things, then switch to the atomizer to quickly get a triple jump in. You have to have a penalty to that, so you can't just do that. Makes sense. This is a great change as well. Reduced damage penalty versus players to 15% from 20%. So also buff. Good. Remember how I said negatives are sometimes positive. Moving on. Flying guillotine, completely garbage now. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Or maybe not completely garbage, but they removed the Sandman effect, which was why the reason why you use it, you know, to pick people from far away. Pick as in like a competitive term for killing someone from, yeah, killing a target, an important target, like a medic or pretty much just a medic. This weapon is capable of high burst damage under what sometimes seems like random conditions, even though they're not. They're actually very skillful well, it's like 90% skillful conditions. And then other effects like Natasha and Booze made it also trigger. Remove Booze as in ghosts. As in ghosts on maps that have ghosts. Remove the randomness. Remove the crit versus stun players. Boo! 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 I'm a ghost. Moving on. Mini crits. At long range, removed. Darn. I guess that was... I guess that's okay? Sure. Added long range hits reduce recharge by 1.5 seconds. So you spam it more if you get hits. That's... I guess it's okay. Distance considered long range reduced. So, yeah. Just basically, you spam it more if you get more hits. And that's the gist of it. That's the gist of it. Just, whatever. Reduced by half of the previous values when determining mini crits. Okay. Soldier's base jumper. Apparently, too hard to hit something that's just sort of flying in the air. Okay, sure. Sure. I'll trust you on this, Valve. I'll trust you that you've got a bunch of... No. I do trust that you got a bunch of feedback from a bunch of noobs saying that it's too hard to hit base jumpers. And I believe you. I believe you. You've legitimately got a bunch of feedback from a bunch of noobs saying that it's too hard to hit base jumpers in the air. And so you've changed it. You made it so it deploys only once. I guess it doesn't matter anyways, because no one uses this weapon. Some people use this weapon. It's not really even a weapon. It doesn't deal damage, but it is an equipable slot item of things. What am I saying? I don't even know. But my foot's asleep. Oh my god, the pain. Moving on. The changes they've done. Reduce the amount of air control while deployed by 50%. Sure. Yeah, you become more of a sitting duck, sure. And remove the ability to redeploy. So, nerfed to the ground. Thank you, Valve. That's totally what everyone wanted. Moving on. The man treads. Oh my god, these are amazing now. Oh my god. Okay, so the minigame of stomping on people's heads was garbage. You're never gonna get that crap, and it doesn't even synergize with like anything else, including the market gardener. You don't want to market gardener someone and also slam on their head. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't actually. It's only a noob trap. You think as a noob, you know what? I want to market garden some people. Let me use the man treads, and then you do it, and it's like, wait, I'm not supposed to land on people's heads. That doesn't make sense. Moving on. Changes. 75% push force reduction now includes air blast. So pyros are not pushing you as much. Amazing. That's crazy. That's good. Added 200% air control when blast jumping. That's incredible. I want to see this in practice. I want to use this. I want to see what happens. Cause like through like strafe jumping, is that affected by this? Is that what they mean? Or do they just mean B.A.S.E movement, like stupid movement while air blasting? That only moves you slightly. That's probably what's affected here. But I want to see this firsthand. I can't judge this. I want to try this out. Could be a fun unlock. Oh my god, my foot's asleep. Okay, we'll ignore this. We're going forward. We're doing this. We're on sniper. It's pretty close to the end. When I'm done with this, I'm gonna have to amputate my foot, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It don't matter. Darwin's Danger Shield. So you became good versus other snipers, and so you felt like you had to use it because you want to be good against other snipers, and you know that makes sense. That sucked. People don't like that. I can relate. Well, I don't really play sniper that often, but I can understand the sentiment there. Goal! Remove the increased survivability against enemy snipers, which inevitably would, yeah. Because design space. Existing design. New design. counters range burn attacks, e.g. flares, and strengthen melee fights versus pyros. So, afterburn immunity, Vita fire resistance. If I recall correctly, last time they put afterburn immunity, they put it on the charge and targe, and people really hated it so much that they had to revert it. So let's see how this goes. Hopefully it goes pretty fun. So basically you become good versus long-range pestering pyros. I guess that's an okay trade-off for not having a weapon in your secondary slot, you know, like an SMG. It's weird. I'm not even gonna try this weapon. I'm just gonna judge it as, meh, I don't care. I'd rather use an SMG here, man. I'm SMG old school style. Moving on. The Razorback. Reduced effectiveness of pocketed snipers and standoff whatever. So in competitive play, when there's a lot of people. Reduce the effectiveness of stalemates, standoffs. This primarily happens in organized competitive play. That's what I'm saying, yes. So, for competitive play, let's make these changes. You know, because the idea is you have the Razorback on, but you're also being healed by a medic. So, 100% overheal penalty, so you don't get overheal. Wait, is that means? Minus 100% penalty. Minus 100% overheal, but it's a penalty. So, it's also a double negative. Oh my god, I hate you, Valve. Let's just say it means you have no overheal. I don't know what I'm saying. Moving on. Added shield resistance for after 30 seconds. Wait a minute. Shield regenerates after 50 seconds. Sorry, I read that incorrectly. So, yeah, I guess it's good. I mean, the Razorback kind of sucks. It's garbagey outside of competitive play. Apparently, it's good in competitive play. Yeah. Well, I'll pocket it. Sure. So, it now regenerates. Good stuff. So, Vita-Saw, they want to make it more like Bioshock inspired, because that's where the weapon comes from. As a weird fun fact, the weapon isn't sold in the stores because of the whole, like, oh, this looks like the Bioshock thing. We're probably going to get sued if we sell this. So you can't actually buy a Vita-Saw in the store. I'm just mentioning this as, you know, the Manco store. Oh, gosh, my foot is asleep. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, that should do it. My foot's on the cold, hard ground. Or maybe it isn't even cold or hard. I guess you can't feel the ground. Moving on. Note to self, edit all the parts off when I talk about my foot being asleep. Nah. Ubercharge on death is too valuable of an effect to be passive. I agree, I actually used the Vita-Saw for a long time, and it was really fun. In a game that has random crits, like if you're playing pubs, in a game with random crits, where you could just die, like that, like nothing. Like, you're just walking by, you do absolutely nothing wrong, and you're dead. Good job, everybody, good job. In a game like that, just, you know, having the passive effect, and with the downside of the minus health not even mattering, it's really good, it's really powerful. Just no one uses this weapon, despite it being good. So they've changed it. Now you have to, like, fight for your bonus. Getting melee attacks in gives you organs and makes it so you can now get up to 60% Uber retention. Is this change? You're going to say, it sounds like fun. I want to see the organs as, like, a HUD icon. That'd be pretty interesting. I wonder how that looks. So you imagine, like, a heart next to a spleen, next to some liver, next to some lungs on your HUD. That's cool. I want to see that. Yeah. Crusader's Crossbow, apparently the best medic unlock in the entirety of existence. I really like moving fast, so I don't use Crusader's Crossbow, but whatever. Let's read the changes. Bolt healing is very high and significantly out-heals the medigun when target is in combat. So like when you're far away, you're shooting off things, you're helping your friends out. Makes sense. Blah blah, risk versus reward wasn't there, however it's also the fastest way to build Ubercharge under certain circumstances, e.g. blah 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 blah, medic behind you cover, good, yeah. So let's change it, the changes. Ubercharge gain rate reduction is the same way that the medigun's healing, so, and therefore Ubercharge build rate is based on the last time the target was in combat. Oh, I see, oh, they're making it so you get less Ubercharge, which by the way, I didn't even know this weapon gives you Ubercharge. It's been a long time. It was like a couple months ago that they added that. Or maybe more than a couple months. It was like the Gunmetal update, or the Tough Break update, or the Love and War update. They added it. It gives you Ubercharge. Weird. Pretty sure it didn't do that before that, did it? I am out of the loop with this weapon. I'm sorry. I never use this thing. Anyways, they made it so if the person you're shooting to give health didn't take damage for a long time, then you get Uber. More so like a regular Uber medigun would give you. Because it has a bonus if you heal someone who didn't take damage for a long time. Makes sense. Trust me. Just trust me. reduced by a third when 1/10 second outside of the combat, and scales up to 10 level. So basically it works just like a minigun, yeah. That's how the minigun works. You heal slowly at the 1 to 10, and you heal fast at the 10 to 15. And like, yeah. At 10, 15 and above seconds, you heal at the maximum speed when you heal someone who's out of combat for that much time. So, moving on to heavy changes. All miniguns changes. So, recently, it was a couple updates ago, one of the big updates from some time ago, they changed it so you deal sucky damage. You deal crap damage when you shoot the minigun right away, and then after 1 second, it becomes regular, and it becomes, like the spread was more wide, and it becomes more focused. So, it becomes better after 1 second. This change, I love this change. They've changed it. They changed it so the accuracy and damage penalty now resets when the heavy spins down, rather than when he stops firing. This means if you start spin up, so this is what I thought was cool. This actually involves smart gameplay and being aware of your environment and stuff like that. You knowing to like spin up ahead of time. So you spin up ahead of time, you don't have the penalty. Yeah, you don't have the 1 second fire penalty. It still exists, but spinning up now counts as helping you out. Gloves of urgency. The GRU. Their problem was that it was pretty crappy. It was pretty crappy like game design. And it was marked for death stuff to it, but it wasn't that much of a downside. Now they made it so you lose your maximum health. It drains as you have it active, 10 seconds per thing. Added max health is drained while item is active. Minus 10 health per second. And regenerates when holstered. Okay, so you become sort of like a soldier when you become a different class. You become one of the faster classes in terms of effective health pools. That's cool. That's weird, but cool. I like it. Health will regenerate only the amount drained while active, minus any damage taken during that time. So you change back to your regular weapon, you become a heavy again. You become fat. You become strong again. You become the 300 health character after that. Eventually, you become back to normal. Okay. Each time the gloves are deployed, the drain rate is accelerated for a brief period of time. So if you're spamming it, it's bad? Oh! This is anti-spam, so you don't just switch back and forth between the weapon and not the weapon. Alright, I like it. That's cool. Thanks, Valve, for being smart about that. They implemented this smartly, I'm gonna say. Removed a mark for death effect while active, so, you having less health is pretty bad. So the mark for death thing would just be icing on the bad cake. It would probably make the weapon unusable at this point. So it's good they removed it. And removed the damage penalty, so it's actually a good melee weapon. And I say good, but it's okay. It's just maybe you use it for meleeing people, or meleeing people, or melee, or etc. Jokes about how you pronounce melee. It's funny. Eviction notice. So the punchy thing's a punchy town that make you go faster, only as a recent update. They also changed this to a lesser extent, the same sort of way they did with the previous weapon. Added max health is drained while active, but only a 5 minus per second rather than the 10 of the other thing. Blah blah blah, holstered, minus damage, etc, etc, same thing as this previous thing. Removed 20% damage vulnerability. Nice. The Fist of Steel. So the beef with this was that, you could just like guard a control point and just be a big tanky tank and get healed by a medic and no one's gonna come up and punch you. What the hell? You're like surrounded by teammates or something. So they're like, we have to nerf this weapon even though it's not that great to begin with, except for that one situation described. Added 40% overheal reduction while active, and added 40% heal rate penalty while active. Given their goal is to make it so the medic heavy combo with this weapon isn't that good, or at least is reduced in how well it is, I'd say they succeeded with this nerf. But you never know. Time will tell. We'll find out firsthand. Get it? Firsthand? The Engineer is the last one for this. People speculate, as a side note, since it's going to be maybe the Pyro update, these changes are going to be for, that they want to keep all the Pyro changes secret. I mean, sure. Sounds cool. Sounds like fun. I like the idea. That's why we don't get any Pyro changes. Rescue Ranger! The weapon where you shoot the bolts and you heal your sentry gun just using ammo rather than metal. They want to change that. They want to make it cost metal. Let me just read these patch notes. The ability to repair buildings safely from range without using metal is powerful. I agree. Combine this with the ability to instantly teleport buildings from far away, which by itself is interesting and useful enough in many circumstances. That is correct. And you end up with a package that is very strong. That is true. This weapon is pretty much the go-to primary. I'm gonna say the go-to primary for the Engineer at this time of recording this, before these changes are implemented. Unless you want different gameplay like you'd find with other engineer primaries, such as the Thompson whatever 1000, or the Frontier Justice. You know, revenge crits are pretty fun. Become like a revengineer with revenge crits. Good times. Ranged repairs now consume metal at a 4:1 health to metal ratio. Example, repairing 60 damage costs 15 health. Okay, sure. I'm okay with the change. It sounds like fun. Sounds good. It balances out the primaries for the engineers. Alright, so we've gone through the entirety of the changes. I am hyped for this update. I like the cool changes. I dislike the bad changes. And hopefully I gave my opinion very well to you as to what is occurring and what has, yeah. Does that make sense? Possibly not. Moving on. Okay, so these were the changes. Any closing thoughts? My brain is a scatter of nothingness right now, so I'm going to say no. But on the bright side, my foot is no longer asleep. So there you go. Thanks for watching! Until next time, I'm hyped for this update. Hopefully you are too, although it may not, maybe you're not, who knows. Seems like these are good balance changes for the most part, except some of the weapons that were like not great already were kind of nerfed. That's unfortunate. But what are you going to do? I'm looking at you. Wait, where is it? Where is it? Oh, where is it? Flying Guillotine. I'm looking at you, Flying Guillotine. So once again, thanks for watching. Rip Flying Guillotine. Rip Flying Guillotine indeed. Au revoir.